I'm good now.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, folks. Welcome to episode, I believe, 3 of the Ties That Bind Claymont University. Um, and as some of you may have noticed, we are down a player today. Gray has Tech Week for the show she's doing. But we have plenty of stuff, ways to torture these three poor sad souls. So uh, let's jump right into it. And like every week, let's see what happened last time. We're going to start with Allie Peacock. We're going to start with Fia. What happened with Fia last time?
Shit.
Uh-oh. What did Fia do last time?
What? That's a good question.
Anybody kick in? Sure,
Uh,
Fia, you were here. We did something with
we
Fia.
did. We did.
Oh, you went and met Julian
I
at
did
the
meet
office.
Julian. Yeah.
That's right.
My dad's
Uh,
assistant. My dad's assistant.
that's right. Yeah, and basically you got invited to go to as his plus one, right, to this event. You were
Yeah.
effectively, yeah,
Mhm.
David's
This party.
guest of honor, or guest, I guess. And
I mean, she did mushrooms
yeah,
with everybody else.
that's right. We all did mushrooms. That's right. That was actually a big part of the whole episode.
Everybody had experiences.
Oh, that's right. Yes, everybody had a trip except for Jesse. So, well, speaking of Jesse, what happened with Jesse last
um, Jesse talked to Zeppelin and learned that Zeppelin's been having like weird sex dreams about Jesse and Fia. And got invited to the party. We did shrooms. Jesse did, and everybody else did. Um, Jesse realized that Fia reminds him of home, like the life before this one, but he couldn't figure out why. He also kissed Fia, and that was very sweet. And um, then Matthew asked if I could get them into the party, and I told them if they drop the story for the
week?
paper that they're
And,
writing, I would get them.
and Matthew agreed to
Yeah.
that.
So then I called
So
Mark,
okay,
got him
yeah.
an invite.
Um, say what?
I called Madeline and got him an invite.
Got him. That's right. Okay, and last but not least, Lexi. What happened with Lexi last week?
Um, Shrooms in the woods was the big thing. That was Lexi's idea. Um, worked on setting up Everly and Madeline.
Well, that's right. Yeah.
And then got Everly to mess with my parents' car so that they can't get to the party tonight because I'm going and I had on my trip I had a vision that like if they were there I would feel awful um and feel out of place and not good enough, and so I had Everly fuck up their car so they can't get to the party so that I can have a good time.
Right. And yeah, so everybody ended up at the party. The party had at least begun. Everyone had arrived. And I believe the episode ended with Madeline witnessing her stepmom slash former best friend. That's right, flinging herself out of a window and landing in a lake right at the base of their house or whatever. It's CW, so who knows how physics works. But there you go. And so that's where we'll pick up. And with we'll pick up with Lexi. Lexi, as I'm sure. Well, how does Lexi react to this sort of high society sort of situation? How party?
I feel like Lexi looks the part and can act the part if she wants to, but she doesn't want to. And so she'll play the like good society girl for a minute and then say something or do something just to shock the people around her. And she's probably drinking pretty heavily. She's probably on at least one drug of some sort. Um, and she is definitely flirting with every old person that she comes across. Maybe some more than others, but like even the ones that she's not even particularly interested in, she like kind of flirts with them to make them feel uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
And every waiter that passes with a tray of food or drink, Lexi takes at least one thing off of it.
Okay. So as you're mingling in the party, and again, this is a horse stables. It's a very farm chic situation here. You're not actually in the stables proper, but it is very rustic. But they paid a lot of money to make it look rustic. That sort of situation, and you see someone who is getting drunk almost as fast as you, maybe faster considering the tolerance Lexi has built up by now, and that it would be Gilly, if we remember Gilly. Gilly is
right, yes.
soft-spoken. Yes, as someone who I believe there's rumors that Gilly is related to a celebrity or something.
Yes.
But Gilly's here by himself, and he's on his phone. He is chugging what looks to be some sort of cocktail, and he's got two or three empties around him, and he just looks miserable. And every once in a while, you realize he's watching you. I mean, just you look over and he looks away, that sort of thing. But he's not
I will
approaching,
walk
and he's
straight up to him.
okay. And he looks up and he sort of raises his eyebrows. He doesn't look intimidated. He really doesn't even look that drunk. But he
You
sort of
look
grins and he goes, "Go ahead."
you look fucking miserable. What is your problem?
Look, I didn't want to be here, but I promised somebody I would be, so I'm just here taking notes and sending messages to some folks who can't be here
That
themselves.
sounds boring as fuck. Who the fuck are you taking notes for? This isn't class, you dumbass.
Hey, I know I'm not happy about it, but I promised, so it doesn't matter. And he goes, "You know what?" And he sort of finishes off this drink. It's this big, like, pink cocktail drink that they're giving out for free at the bar. It's one of like 5 different pre-made drinks that they're giving out to people. Um, and he goes, "You want to get out of here?"
No. Why would you want to get out of here? There's free alcohol, free food, and a bunch of rich people. This party's gonna
Well,
be fucking incredible. Why would you want to leave?
I didn't say we had to leave the party. I just meant get out of the room for a few minutes.
I could do that.
He puts his phone in his pocket and sort of takes you by the hand and acts like he knows his way around this place, like he's been here 1,000 times or something, and immediately says, "Come on, I know where we can go," and starts leading you upstairs.
I'll follow him.
Okay. Um, Jesse, both you and you and Fia notice separately, unless you guys happen to be hanging out together, uh, Gilly and Lexi running off. Would you say you two are hanging out together at this thing, or no? Or would you be separate?
I kind of assumed Fia was with David.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that she would be hanging out with the younger. I feel like she would probably try and do her best to like be good to like the influential people.
Okay. Okay. So anyway, separately, You both can see this. I mean, the staircase is not far off the main floor where everybody is. And you both happen to notice Lexi run off with Gilly. Gilly leads you up to the second floor. And as soon as you reach the landing, he starts making out. Or he attempts to, assuming Lexi is.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Lexi's always good.
Right. And immediately, I mean, the two of you are just all over each other, sort of like you see in the movies. They're rolling down the hallway, like on the walls, like back and forth, and just keep going and going. And eventually, he reaches around behind him and grabs the door and turns it and pulls you in. And both of you sort of pull up short because there is a person that the audience would recognize, but I don't know if you guys would. And he's sort of fixing up his shirt a little bit, straightening his tie, and putting his hair into place. And this is who we recognize as Madeline's father in this room, the owner of the establishment. And it looks like he's just closed a couple of like French doors and is turning around. And he goes, with a very heavy French accent. I mean, just dripping with derision. And he goes, "What are the party is downstairs, you two?" And Gilly is silent. Gilly is not speaking.
I give him a second to respond, and if he doesn't respond, then I will step kind of forward. We just thought maybe there'd be something more exciting happening upstairs.
You can't help but notice he glances towards the French doors for a second, but that's minuscule, momentary, and says, "It's very boring up here, but
would you like to make it more interesting?"
Well, actually, this is Madeline's father. He gives you a once up and down.
I'll step toward him. I assume he's wearing a tie.
Oh, yes. He had just finished adjusting it when you walked in.
So I'll grab the tie and pull it close. And I'm just assuming that it's expensive.
Oh, very much so.
And I'll grab the tie and kind of pull him toward me a little bit, like I'm looking at it. This is a really nice tie. You have excellent taste.
He chuckles and he goes, "Oui, I do." And he glances over at Gilly and he goes, to you, he says, "Well, you have excellent taste as well."
That accent is so cute. Where are you from?
He chuckles because, I mean, it's obvious. Well, I guess he could be from French Canada or something. But from Paris, from France.
That's so hot.
Oh, thank you very much. And he sort of acts like he's going to get around you, but to go out the door. But he is making it very clear as he rubs up against you that if you decide to ask him to stay, well, I mean,
I don't let him move past me.
No,
like he can try, but I will grab his jacket or his arm or the tie if I still have it in my hand. Like I'm not ready to let him go yet.
Okay. He gets caught by his tie. You still have it.
And I'll lean in and I'll say, "That cologne is really sexy. It reminds me of my dad." And I want to roll to turn him on.
All right.
And I'm going to assume this triggers my move. We really shouldn't. When you attempt to turn someone on, add +1 if giving into temptation is obviously a terrible plan.
Yes, I would say this fits that category.
Okay, so that gives me a +2. No, +3 because my hot's 2. Hell yeah. That's gonna be a 1 and a 6. So that's gonna be a 10.
Okay. So you get a string on Madeline's father, whose name I should have off the top of my head, but we will look that up. You have a string on you get a string for succeeding in that move, and when you mention the smell of his cologne, he doesn't even really respond. But he cuts off when you start to talk about how it reminds you of your dad. You get as far as it reminds me of, and he is on you. And Gilly is like over there just with raised eyebrows. Gilly never really gets wide-eyed in shock. He's a very low-key individual, but he does have his phone in his hand, and the scene sort of ends with him sort of pulling up the phone and going beep and recording a video.
As he does that, I think as the scene sort of fades out, I grab Gilly and pull him in.
So we see from the perspective of the recording phone, Lexi's hand reach out past the phone, and the phone sort of jostles around, and then bloop, and then we cut the scene. And the scene then cuts to.
Do I get to trigger my sex move?
Oh yeah, we'll say that, sure. I mean,
that's Lexi's intention. I don't know about anyone else.
Yes, everybody else. Yeah, I don't know of anybody who wouldn't agree to that in this particular group.
Perfect.
So sure.
I think I target it towards Alexander. Not towards Gilly can be there, but he's not the focus of my sex move. So my sex move is whenever you have sex with someone new, act as if you had rolled a 10 on Rite of Spring. When you have sex with someone you've had sex with before, admit something you've never told anyone they gain a string on you. But I've not had sex with Madeline's dad, Maddie's daddy. So I get to act as if I had rolled a 10 on Rite of Spring, which means I get to gaze into the abyss with a +2, and a successful roll on that lets me know something about him. So let me go ahead and roll that gaze.
Okay.
That's going to be a 10 as well. 5 and a 3 +2. So I get to learn a secret desire, a past indiscretion, or a personal vice. I also gain a string on them because I got a 10.
That's 2.
So I get another string on him, yeah. So I want to know his... Oh, do I want to know a past indiscretion? No, I want to know a personal vice.
A personal vice.
Yeah.
A personal vice, and we won't go with the obvious that womanizing is a personal vice of his. I mean, I think that's pretty straightforward. A personal vice that you catch through your monstrous abilities is that he is very angry. He is he's very angry, and if you had to guess, it was for a very specific reason. You don't know what that reason is, but this dude is secretly seething under the surface.
Good to know.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, there you go. Yeah, wow. That was an eventful event. So, we'll cut to Jesse. What is Jesse's general vibe here at this thing?
I think that he's probably chilling by himself. I don't know who all is there really, but
of the people that we have met, there is obviously the 4 of you. There is Everly is there. Bailey and Clarissa are there because they were mocking Fia for not having even known about it. Obviously Gilly is there, and somebody else. Who else? Oh, Matthew is there. So of the people that go to school with you, that's who's there. Otherwise, we can say whoever you want to be there is there.
Okay, then I think I'm probably chilling with Everly. I think that Jesse has been to events similar to this before. I think I probably should have told you this before, but I think Eleanor, his dead girlfriend's parents were wealthy.
Okay.
So she grew up going to events like this, so then he was just kind of fell in line with her. So he's not like super like uncomfortable. Um, but I think he's there because everybody else was going. I don't think this is where he like chooses to be. Um,
Gotcha. Is
so
he?
I
Does
know
he
he's just
drink?
hanging. Um, I think he has a drink. I think
Okay.
that it's probably Coke. But
That's just something in his hand to
yeah.
carry around. Okay. So Everly is basically almost as talkative as Jesse, which is not terribly. And um, you see Everly watch as Madeline sort of goes around outside and out around back. So we'll say this took place about 4 or 5 minutes before the end of the last episode. And Everly just says, "I'll be right back," and sets their glass down on the counter nearby and takes off. Now, when they do that, you just naturally follow Everly with your eyes, and your eyes fall on who the audience knows is David, the guest of honor here. And for some reason, you feel, how to put this, your adrenaline spikes. You can't place it's not a fight or flight or fear response that you can tell. It's just your adrenaline. It's like you can feel your heart beating and your breath sort of catches a little bit. And do me a favor and gaze into the abyss for me. With
Okay.
dark.
Nope.
No
So
good? Okay. Okay. Let's see. You don't lose anything on a fail and gaze into the abyss. No. No, okay. Um, so what you basically get, and this David never turns to look at you. He has, I mean, there are probably 150, 200 people here, and this guy is apparently shaking hands with every single one of them, except for people who don't look like they have money. And you watch as he pulls um, Fia to him gently, not like roughly, not aggressively, but like puts an arm on her elbow and then whispers in her ear something. And you catch this because of your general nature and you pick up on things like this. You see him grab the collar that she still has been wearing for the last several days and sort of pull it in a little bit while he's speaking to her. He smiles. She has an unreadable expression because, frankly, she hasn't had this conversation yet, so we'll find out what kind of expression she has. But um, there is something you don't know, frightening, exciting, anxiety inducing. You honestly can't place your feeling right now. Honestly, you've only been part of this reality for a few years. There's going to be shit you haven't figured out about yourself. So there's, this is one of those things. And as you're sort of watching, um, what's her name? Bailey, sort of, you realize Bailey has been speaking to you and you didn't realize it until she finally just waves in front of your face. Hello, Eartha Jesse, you there?
Um, hey, yeah, sorry. What's up?
You see that she hands you another glass of Coke. It's she was paying attention to what you were drinking. She goes, just thought I'd see how you're doing. You're over here staring off into space. Everything okay?
Uh, yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Just
She nods.
trying to
What?
get a read on the guy that Fia's with.
And she looks over and goes, "Oh, his name's David. He's the reason everybody's here tonight." Clarissa is extremely jealous of Fia, just letting you know. So be careful, or don't. I don't care. But yeah, he's the man of the hour. But I'm more interested in you. I noticed Matthew was here tonight. He said you were able to get him in.
Yeah, yeah. He asked for a ticket or an invite. And I literally just asked for one. So.
Well, that's maybe you've got more pull than I do. I don't know. I just came with Clarissa as her +1, and she is awful. So I try not to spend too much time with her if I can help it. But anyway, I thought I would let you know something. I don't know, and she's getting close to you. By Jesse's nature, you sense there's an attraction. I mean, Jesse looks like Jesse looks. It's just instinctive, to a certain extent. People who are attracted to men specifically are very attracted to Jesse. Can't help it. It's chemical. So she's getting closer, and she sort of, runs, sort of puts her hand on your arm, and just sort of feels for a second, feels your muscles, and she goes, "Oh, sorry," and like she just caught herself doing it, and she goes, "I I think Matthew may be doing a story on you. Um, he's been watching a video over and over and over in the common area back at the dorm, and I mean, he keeps zooming in on you and stuff. I mean, I just I just hope you're okay, because it doesn't look. He won't tell me. I did ask, but he says his journalistic integrity won't let him talk about it. But just saying, if you do need to talk to somebody, I'm happy to be here to talk to.
Yeah, I knew about that. That was his price of admission to the party tonight. Is that hopefully he he should be dropping the story. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I guess if you see him doing anything weird, let me know.
Okay, sure. And she just stares sort of unreadably at you for a minute, unspeaking. Uh, I say unreadably, but it's pretty obvious she has something else she wants to talk about. And then eventually she just gives up on Jesse asking her what. And she leans in to whisper. And she gets very close and she goes, "I was friends with Eleanor. And I miss her too."
I think he just freezes. I think the camera sees his hand tighten,
Okay.
it's like physically impacted by her saying that. I don't think he says anything.
Okay. Well, she still has hands on the man, so she feels him tense up. She goes, "We don't have to talk about it, but once you showed up, you were the only thing she was interested in. And a lot of our old friends, well, we didn't get a chance to say goodbye." And she stops and she goes, "That's not your fault. I'm not blaming you, obviously. But I just want you to know there's other people who feel a sense of loss too."
I'm sorry. I didn't get to say goodbye either, though. And I think he goes to get up and go somewhere away from this situation.
Away from the situation. Okay. As you do that, her hand sort of stops you. I mean, unless you are physically running away, she is trying to stop you just for one more second. And she goes, I think Matthew might know who did it. But then she lets you go. She lets go of your elbow. She had been holding onto your elbow. She lets go. If Jesse keeps going, he keeps going. If Jesse stays, he stays.
I think over his shoulder, he just says, nobody knows who did it. He got away, and then keeps walking.
She lets you go. And the camera sort of swings past Jesse, and we realize as the camera is moving through the crowd that the crowd's moving backwards a little bit, and we're moving backwards in time, just a few seconds. And Fia, you are in the middle of a whirlwind. It is a hurricane of socializing and schmoozing and handshaking and laughter and clapping and congratulations and all sorts of things. And through it all, well, you tell me. I don't know. I don't want to say this. How does Fia react to something like this? I mean, Fia, do you have your cane with you with this?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. How does Fia feel in this sort of scenario?
I think it's she's definitely not Fia. She definitely has this mask of like this perfect, not daughter, but kind of like this very, put together. She's not like who other people would know her as. She definitely has a different air about her. But she doesn't necessarily enjoy it, but that's just how it is.
But she's willing to go along with the scenario. Okay. So as of you hear David sort of chuckle at somebody, and then pats this older sort of rotund guy, balding. Pats him on the shoulder and goes, "You know what, Harold? I could really use a drink, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get away for a second. Do you think you can help me out with that?" And Harold goes, "Well, hell yeah, I can. I'll fix you one myself." And he takes off. He sort of walks off. And you have, and at that point, David leans down and sort of takes you by the elbow and pulls you in close, comfortably, gently. And he says, "I'm very proud of what you're doing here. I know this isn't fun for you. I will have a proposal for you by the end of the night. And let's just say I don't think you should be beholden to your parents' contracts. Perhaps we can make one of our own."
I don't know if Fia knows what the hell he's talking about.
So be it. How does Fia react? But he says that.
I think she just kind of pauses for a second because this is not. We know what it is, but she has no clue about any of this stuff. She's like, okay. Okay, I didn't know that there was anything, a contract or anything.
And when you say that, that's when he reaches up to the collar that you have around your neck and pulls you in a little closer and whispers in your ear, even tighter. Your parents required some things of me, and I required a few things of them. And I have been caring for you in the meantime out of affection for you. But you're grown, and you can be responsible for your own deals, for your own contracts. And there's a little emphasis on that. He goes, "We can talk about it later."
I think she's still like very confused, but she just nods. She just has no idea what to say to that.
Sure. He grins and goes, you can tell that he's referring to the fact that Ophelia is putting this mask on and she's getting back into sort of the character of the evening. And he sort of chuckles and he goes, "Good girl. Let's go." And he pulls you back into a whirlwind of schmoozing, and Harold shows back up with this, looks like a pint glass full of bourbon. That
Hey, we love Harold. We love Harold in this house.
David's hands. And David chuckles and says, "Well, you know I can't drink this, Harold." "Oh, you'll be fine. You can take it. Come on, you ain't a pussy." And David just chuckles, but you feel David sort of squeeze just a little bit. He has sort of his hand on Fia's shoulder just as he was turning around, and you feel him sort of dig into your shoulder, and he absolutely hates Harold. The rest of the world might love Harold. David does not. And and the scene sort of moves on ahead a little bit, and there is some various talking, and people are having a good time, laughing, glasses clinking. Lexi, you guys are. It doesn't take long. This Lexi is well, I don't want to say is a professional. She's not a professional, but she knows what she's doing. She's talented. We'll put it that way. And the Lexi not only controls the entire scenario in that bedroom, but she is also, when all said and done, she is the first one put back together. She's the first one ready to get back to the crowd. Meanwhile, the two guys are still like putting on their pants and shirts, trying to button themselves, get them back into some sort of semblance of their appearance to be decent. And they go, Maddie's daddy looks at you and goes, "I will come down after you are free to go. We don't need to be leaving together."
That makes sense. There is just one thing, though. And she's gonna get close to him again. And I think, I don't know if where did Gilly put the phone? Did he put the phone away, or is it out?
No, it's like dropped on the floor at this point.
So in the process of getting her together, she grabs the phone. And she just kind of holds it up with the like picture, or like the still of the video on the screen. And she says, "You're the one like throwing this party, right?" I'm interested in meeting the guest of honor.
He just starts laughing. I don't think so. No.
Oh, but see, I'm just a marketing student and I need an internship for the spring. And I'm very interested in political marketing. I'm very good at making sure that images and videos get out to the public. And I would love a meeting with him to talk about potential internships. And I'm going to pull one of the strings that I have to tempt him to do what I want.
Okay. You pull that string, and he catches on. He catches he takes the bait. He sighs. He glares at you, but there's a grudging respect there, like a respect that he did not have for you at all until now. Matter of fact, you might have sensed a certain act of disrespect up until now.
That's how she likes it. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough.
Have I put together that this is Madeline's dad? I'm assuming.
I mean, I don't know. That's up to you. I suppose if you want to say yes, then that's
similar?
fine.
Like they look like they're related, and he's French, so like.
Well, he's French. They don't necessarily. I mean, he's got facial hair and stuff. Their features. Madeline definitely takes more after her mother, but I mean, they're both French, and yeah, I mean, this is
Okay.
her dad.
I figured I'd put 2 and 2 together. Lexi's not
Sure.
dumb. She may pretend
Right.
to be dumb, but she's actually very smart.
Sure. So he goes, I believe that can be arranged before the end of the evening.
Wonderful. It was lovely to meet you.
Mm.
And she's going to grab
Likewise.
Gilly by the front of his shirt and pull him out.
Okay. Gilly's like, oh, geez, he's still tucking in his shirt and his pants whenever you pull him out into the hallway. And you walk out and you bump into someone that we have also seen and who we know as David's assistant. Well, hello, darling. My, aren't you just fabulous?
Well, thank
How
you.
are you? Yes, indeed. I have word that you may be related to a, how shall I put this? The man who was supposed to do the introductions this evening. And he sadly has had car trouble.
Yeah, my parents' car's not working. It's really sad. I offered to come pick them up, but they said they didn't want to show up to the party in a college student's car, so...
Oh my, how embarrassing for them. However, there is still the matter of we need someone to do the introductions, and since your parents were the ones going to do it, I thought, why not?
You want me? I don't know anything about it. I mean, I'll do it. I love being in front of a crowd, but do you have a script? Is there a thing I'm supposed to say?
Oh, of course, darling. Of course, we wouldn't just throw you to the wolves. There's a brief history of his achievements on the podium. All you have to do, it has your father's name. All you have to do is pick it up, open it, and read it. And be charming as I can tell that you obviously are. But how embarrassing for your parents. They seem to be stuck in a rather rough neighborhood, shall I say?
I know, it is really quite unfortunate for them. I just feel terrible. I'm sure they would hate it if people knew.
Oh, I can tell how terrible you feel, darling. Oh, I feel as terrible as well. But, excellent. Well, then you're on in, shall we say, 5? Hmm?
I like you. Let's do it.
I like you too, darling. Let's go. And Gilly is like staring at the two of you, like, what the fuck?
I
And
let go of Gilly and just follow him. Gilly's gone. Out of the mind. I still have Gilly's phone, though. I put it in my purse. Or
okay.
probably just in my bra. Like, just tuck it in.
Fair enough. Gilly is, and you can tell that Gilly hasn't even picked up that you have his phone. He still thinks it's in the room. You see him pat his pockets, and he goes back in the bedroom. And yes, Julian leads you out and back downstairs to a dais, and he goes, "Well, darling, you're on, and try not to embarrass us, please." Hmm?
I'll do my best.
Hmm. I cannot wait to see your best, darling. Off, off, chop, chop. And he gestures up to there's, like I say, it's a raised dais platform. There's a podium on it, very, very nice mahogany. And sure enough, there is a collection of papers. You can tell it's not only the speech your father was going to make, but underneath is apparently the speech that David plans to make. And yes, I would say if she's just going to go for it, let's roll something for that. What sounds like fun?
I think there's this moment where she's been like kind of messy and looks like she's fucked up.
Okay.
And as she steps up to the podium, there is this like shift in her, and she lets go of a lot of that and stands up a little taller, clears her throat, and like as she starts speaking and reading the speech, her voice is totally different. Like all of that vocal fry is gone. Her voice is crisp and clean and clear. There is a poise that we don't often see from Lexi.
Right.
So I guess you can tell me what you want me to roll.
I think a keep your cool might be the right roll.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. So trying to see if any of my moves made sense, but I don't think so. I'm not really risking long-term consequences here.
Not really.
Not really. Okay, cool. So I'm not great at keeping my cool. I have a -1, but I've been rolling well. Let's see how we do. Oh, no, that's a fail. That's a 5.
Okay. So you go up and you realize quickly that this speech was not only written probably by your father, but with all his same lame jokes that he tells, and it has a lot of ridiculous, like sappy, like stories about how they know each other, and you know for a fact they're made up because he's your dad. You know who he knows and who he doesn't know. So what that means is you are having to sort of fill in the blanks. The actual accomplishments of David Brown, as his name is, are pretty straightforward. He's CEO of this corporation. He founded this. He's in charge of these charities. Blah blah blah. But you are, after you finally say, and everybody welcome our next governor, David Brown. And he comes over and he sort of, as they do when people applaud, he comes over to shake your hand and he leans down and whispers to you with a smile on his face. And he goes, I never in a million years would have thought your father would be better at this than you. Get off the stage.
I think Lexi just freezes. She just doesn't move.
He snaps his fingers like loudly in front of your face, and still with a smile because you're in front of all these people. He says, he gestures off to the stairs that lead down into the rest of the crowd. Let's go.
She will leave the stage and go straight for the bar.
You have to walk by Fia to get down there. Fia has come up on stage with David. Do you do anything or what?
I can tell that they're together.
Yes.
Does Fia react at all when he says that to me?
I imagine Fia didn't hear it because of the applause.
He did say it. He wasn't trying to humiliate you publicly necessarily. He was trying to just let you know how disappointed he personally is in you.
As I go past Fia, I kick her cane out from under her.
Okay.
Discreetly. Like, I try to do it discreetly.
So nobody sees.
Yeah. But I want her to fall.
Okay.
Or at least stumble.
Fia, we can either roll for this or you can just decide whether Fia falls or doesn't.
I mean, I think she definitely, if she doesn't fall, she definitely, trips. Because she's fairly reliant on it, on that side. So.
Okay. We'll say you fall to one knee. And of course, the audience is like, "Ooh, gasp!" And Lexi, do you react? I mean, because you would be right there. David is obviously going to react, but do you just keep walking?
I keep walking.
Okay. In a flash, David is over there to help you up, and you see a look on his face that you haven't seen before, and it's hard to even tell whether it's anger or not. But he's glaring at the back of Lexi's head, and you almost see him like blink and nod to himself. I mean, and only because you know him well enough anybody else who saw this doesn't see this, or anybody else watching doesn't see this. As if he's made a choice. He's made some sort of decision. But he sort of whispers in your ear as he's helping you up. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
All right.
If he's like touching her at all, she'll like kind of like pat the hand that like is on her. It's like a kind of like a I'm okay.
All right. He quite publicly gives you like a kiss on the top of the head and smiles and looks to the crowd. And of course, the crowd loves you even more now that you've fallen and gotten back up. They are they love it. And he sort of makes a joke about how he really thought he was faster than that to be able to catch you or something. And, he's taken like it's his fault or whatever. And he goes on to make a speech, and he's talking and talking. And it's interminable. And towards the end of the speech, when he's saying, and come November next year, I will be, we'll all do this again at my inauguration. And Fia, you realize when he does that, the applause, everybody's cheering and applauding. He's really got these people, in the palm of his hand. But he looks over at you, and he's got a beaming smile on his face. And he goes, let's talk. And immediately all the applause stops. You look out in the audience, and everybody is frozen mid-applause. There's no sound. There is actual, like, drinks being poured that are frozen. And he walks over and goes, let's talk about what we need to do. And we'll cut the scene to Jesse. Jesse, after Bailey has talked to you and you've sort of gone off, are you trying to be alone? Are you in the crowd, or have you found some place to be by yourself in your thoughts, or what would you say?
I think that when I think he was had just moved to like a different, like, high top table or whatever. Okay. And then once he saw that Lexi took the stage, he kind of moved to, I don't know what the word is, the only one in my brain is like the pit. He moved to general admission.
He moved up.
Like, whatever, I don't know what the stitch is. I've never been to a fancy party. But
you've been watching. Well, this is more of this is an event more than a party. I mean, sort of both. But yes, I mean, and the crowd seems to be eating David's speech up, just eating it up. It's whatever to you. What the hell does Jesse care who's running for governor or not?
Well, I don't think he's even listening. I think he's watching Fia. Gotcha. Especially after she fell. He's like locked on. He's locked in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you're so locked in. We'll say you're so incredibly locked in that it takes you a second to realize all the applause has stopped around you. And you sort of glance around. You freeze instinctively. Like, what the fuck is happening? But then you realize the same thing that Fia has realized, that everyone else is frozen. Lexi is frozen with a drink in her hand. It looks like she's in the middle of cussing somebody out, not even paying attention to the speech at all. All Harold is over there laughing with a drink in his hand. All the people something has happened. And whatever it is didn't affect you.
Like magically frozen or like stunned frozen?
No. They are frozen in mid-applause. They are frozen. Oh. There is like liquid being poured out of glasses that's frozen. Magically frozen. And you being up near the front, David currently sort of has his back sort of to you a little bit because he's gone over to speak directly to Fia. And you can hear this. He's not being quiet. He doesn't look even the slightest bit concerned that anybody might hear him, for perhaps obvious reasons. I don't know. But you hear him say to Fia, "Let's talk." And so, Fia, here we go.
I think she's a little stunned about what is just happened.
Sure.
This is just a girl who thinks she's just a girl, just living life. What the fuck? And she just kind of looks out, kind of looks back.
When you look out, you make eye contact with Jesse and realize Jesse is not frozen.
I think her eyes widen even further when she realizes that she's.
And I think Jesse shakes his head. I think he shakes his head. Like, don't let him know. Because I don't think Jesse was supposed to be not frozen.
Is Julian not frozen, or is he frozen?
Julian is absolutely frozen.
Okay. I'm just trying to clock.
Sure.
So she has that little look out. She eyes wide when she realizes Jesse is still movable, and she looks back and she just kind of like, what happened?
Well, I wanted some privacy, so I got us some privacy. It's time for us to be more open with each other. You are not a child. We can forget childish things. If you want to remain an associate of mine, which I very much would like, then we need to make some ground rules.
I don't. How did you do that?
One of the ground rules is I will answer all your questions once we have a contract in place.
What did you want to talk about then?
I am eager for you to take, how to put this, you are due more of the benefits of associating with me than you currently enjoy. You are due whatever your heart may desire. But I can only provide as much as money can provide currently. I would like to provide more than that. Effectively, and he starts to talk, and it's very businesslike. You will be able to ask me for the power to do things. Your imagination will be the limit, generally. I will, to the best of my ability, give you the power to do these things. Influence people, have secret knowledge of things, be able to have powers perhaps I haven't even thought of. But in doing so, each time you do, each wish, well, we hesitate to call them wishes. Each request you have that I fulfill will be 1 mark. And when you have 5 marks, I will require something of you.
Is that the contract you're talking about?
It is. Your parents made that contract.
Did they have powers?
They didn't want powers. They had much more, both more mundane and more lofty goals. They wanted you.
She's kind of shocked by that. Like, what does it all mean?
He smiles. Obviously, you have full choice and will to do as you see fit. But he reaches over, he walks over to, and Jesse has to sort of freeze when he does this because his eyes sort of go over the crowd a bit. And you notice that he sort of, his gaze lingers on Jesse for just a second, but he doesn't seem to clock that Jesse's not frozen. His gaze lingers on Jesse with a sort of grimace, almost of disgust. But, I mean, not quite that strong. That's stronger than I mean it to be. But, yeah, an unpleasant look on his face. But he reaches over to his speech and pulls the paper off the bottom. And he comes over. And there is, effectively, a contract with several bullet points made. A place for him to sign and a place for you to sign. He says, what I've done here is only a taste of the things you can do. Whatever you wish to happen. And he gestures to the cane. I mean, I certainly think it's part of you and I like it, but if you aren't a fan of walking with a limp, that's easily fixable. There are many things about any of us that we can fix. But I like you as you are. That's why we haven't fixed it yet.
What does the contract say exactly? Can I get some?
The contract.
I'm not saying Fia's gonna be very good at reading this contract because she's 20 years old, but I would like to know what it says.
Oh man, I feel like I've made this, and let this be a warning to all the audience members out there who may someday have to run a game. Don't keep notes in 17 different programs like I do, because you can never find them. Anyway, basically the contract says, for the remainder of your natural life, you will be indebted to, and a place for his name, with the stipulation that within certain parameters as delineated in subsection B on page 2, that he will grant the recipient, which is a place for you to write your name in, the power to do as she sees fit in the world. And he basically says, we'll talk about this. You will have my ear at all times. I do not currently listen when you speak because I do not have a contract with you. This will allow me to be present with you at most times.
It feels very familiar.
And he basically says, I will be available to you for whatever purpose as you see fit. And he says there is one stipulation to this. After 5 favors from me, I require 1 favor from you. That will be determined at whenever it is called for. And he goes, also this. And he gestures to a point down at the bottom. And it says, what does it say? How to put this? To the best of your ability, you will avoid association with the person known as Jesse, whatever Jesse's last name is. I don't think Jesse even has a last name, does it? Does it? Yeah, he does. What's Jesse's last name?
Jacobs.
Jacobs. That's right, duh. Jesse Jacobs. But there is some wiggle room there. You even her 20-year-old can find the loopholes in that. It looks like it's almost designed to be seen through. But yeah, that's basically the contract.
So, I think what's going on right now, because it's a lot of thinking right in her brain. She hasn't done anything, but it's a lot of, being 20 years old and that that power is probably very, very tempting. Just having her cane kicked out from under her and how humiliating that is, and that power is very, very tempting. and kind of almost the fact that, she has friends-ish, but really he's the only person that's stuck in her life for the past few years. And I think after thinking about it, she just kind of looks up at him and just nods. I'll sign.
He hands you a very ornate feather quill pen. And, as you sign, there's a smell of almost like alcohol or whatever the ink is on this thing doesn't smell like regular ink. It's very abrasive. It clears out your sinuses. And he smiles and he fills in his name. And as soon as that happens, you feel great. I mean, your leg is still. I mean, you're not suddenly healed and jumping around doing somersaults, but you have a confidence that, as confident as Fia has been. Fia is, it takes a certain confidence to be sort of a bratty kid sometimes, and Fia's been known to do that from time to time. But this is real confidence. This is I can do things. People will owe me sort of situations. But it's how Fia reacts to that sort of feeling inside is of course totally up to her. And he goes, "Good girl," and he is beaming. He is beaming. The look on his face is abject pride. You can't. He is so happy.
Oh, she loves that. She smiles back at him. That makes her feel really good.
And he says, "All right, well, as we were, let's finish this disgusting evening off, shall we?" And he walks over to the podium and sort of looks over his script to make, or his little script on his speech, to make sure he finds exactly the place he left off, which was right at the end. And I'll say, Jesse, you and Fia have a second to give a glance or a serious look at each other. What do you try to communicate in this moment?
I think Jesse shakes his head. The last time he shook his head, it was frantic, don't let him know. This one is slow and disapproving, what the fuck did you just do?
And I think Fia just gives the tiniest little shrug. Because she doesn't really know.
And I just think when she shrugs, as soon as everybody is back, Jesse's out.
And that happens. Gotcha. As soon as she shrugs, she is mid shrug when everybody's wow, when everything starts going in crazy again and cheering. And he goes, "Let's get this done!" And streamers fall from the ceiling and confetti and such. It's a whole production. And Jesse, we see Jesse from Fia's perspective, even up on the dais. We see Fia watch Jesse sort of take off through the front doors out towards the parking lot. Lexi, Jesse has to basically pass right by you to get out to the parking lot. Are you paying any attention to anyone? What is Lexi? What's her situation? What's her drive right now?
Oh, she needs to find something to get rid of the feelings. So I think what she's doing is she's slamming drinks, just throwing them back. And I think she might notice Jesse walk by, but I don't think she's that preoccupied with him because I don't think she thinks she can get anything out of him, at least not in this moment. But I think she throws back another drink, just one chug, and I'm gonna look around for not one of the old rich people, but somebody's young mistress maybe, or a daughter, somebody who's younger, somebody who's around my age, who's maybe looking a little drunk, at least.
Okay.
Somebody who looks like they've been enjoying the party, but is someone closer to my age.
Yeah. You find there's someone who's been sitting at the bar even while you've been away and come back. She's probably 27, 28.
Perfect.
But she's been drinking, and she is very attractive. She's wearing a nice dress, nice shoes. Um, just looks bored and even a little pissed off.
So I think what I do is like I watch for her to like get up and move. Um, and as soon as she like makes any sort of motion, Lexi walks like she's walking past her, but like purposefully shoulder checks her. And then with a drink in her hand, Lexi turns around and starts like cussing at this girl. Like, watch where you're fucking going, you stupid fucking drunk bitch. And she throws the drink in her face. And Lexi's
Okay.
trying to start a fight.
All right, we're gonna say this is a. Ooh, what is this? You're gonna try to start like a scene,
Yeah.
to make a scene. Let's do shut someone down. I know
Right.
cold's not your best, but this is sort of that situation.
That's fine. Even a failure succeeds in what Lexi's trying to do. And that is a failure. That's a 4.
Okay. You basically, she says, oh, and you throw the drink on her, and and obviously she's drunk too, and she says, God damn it, all you fucking kids, I don't know why all these kids are here, and she shoves you. You guys are basically near the front door, and security is very quick to try to shut this down. Of course, while you're doing this, there's confetti falling, there is people cheering, and since that wasn't a full success, or since it wasn't a success, um, they sort of pull you outside, both of you, the pair of you, before it really gets out of control inside. But you're out there. She was fine, and this lady starts to walk off.
I grab her hair, pull her back. Like I
Lash out physically. Lash out physically. We're doing this. We're doing this fight. Jesse, you hear all this. This is happening not 20 feet behind you right now.
Like Lexi's mental state is right now like she's embarrassed, she's feeling these feelings of shame, this feeling of disapproval. The alcohol is not cutting it. Whatever drugs she's on are probably wearing off. Pain is the next best option. So like her goal is just to like she wants this girl to kick the shit out of her. Like she wants either someone needs to bleed. That is the pleasure she's looking for right now.
All right.
That is a success. That's a 10.
Okay. This woman is not from a society situation a social situation where people grabbing her hair and starting fights in parking lots is a normal part of her everyday weekend. So she's like, oh, what? And you just wail on her. And she starts bleeding and it's going crazy. She's screaming for help. And yeah, she starts scratching at you and you get scratched up. She's not even trying to hit. She's just scratching, going for your eyes. And the pair of you, security takes a while to get there. They had assumed that you two would go on your separate ways. And Jesse, I'm going to give you the option to get in the middle of all this if you wish. If not, then if not. But I'm just saying.
Did this woman do anything, or did Lexi just hit her?
Lexi just went off on this girl.
Nah. If the woman had done something, he probably would have jumped in, but I don't know if Jesse's a fighter like that.
Sure. So, okay. Well, the fight goes on. Eventually, people do start to notice, because several people, after the speeches are made, they're ready to get the fuck out of there. And people are noticing, oh my God, oh dear me, I can't believe this. Of course, a few people are out there with their phones recording and uploading it, live streaming this shit. And yeah, the pair of you, finally, you just wear her out. She is done. Security pulls you off. It takes two of these guys to pull you up, away from this girl. And she looks 10 kinds of beat up. I mean, she is bloody and bruised. This girl is in rough shape. And there's people like, oh, shit, call an ambulance, blah, 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 super drama. I can't believe this is happening. It's such a wonderful event. And yeah, so that is basically, we see Lexi sort of trying to pull her arms away from security, and someone calling an ambulance, which is not far away. They had paramedics close by for just situations like this. And yeah, there's where we will go to commercial, and we'll take a break, everybody. So there we go. There's the first part of our event. So everybody, we'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes, hopefully, somewhere around there. And stick around. Let's see how this goes. All right. Bye, everybody.
Okay.
Let's write down Jesse sad.
Literally.
We're back.
We're back, and we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back.
Or hang on, maybe the thing may not
so-
be. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, man, it is. I'm sorry. I thought the speaker wasn't working. I was looking at the wrong thing.
We're still back.
You're-
We are continuing to be back, everyone. So, all right. Well, at the commercial break previously on, we saw many things happen. Lexi slept with Madeline's dad, then performed perhaps unsatisfactorily in a speech and was less than impressive to David, which did not go Lexi's way. Then she started a fight in a parking lot. Jesse basically got told by Bailey that, hey, we all have feelings, not just you, Jacko. And then also witnessed Fia have signed a contract of her own with some sort of supernatural
Fia's
billionaire.
Warlock Pact.
Warlock Pact, that's right. DM. No, so we come back up on Jesse. It's everybody sort of filed out. We can see party goers, some of them stumbling. Everybody seems to be in basically a good mood. And Jesse, your car was sort of trapped. You couldn't even leave. You had to wait around for some of these people to leave. And when you sort of sit there, you can hear somebody walking up next to you, and you turn around, and it is Bailey and Clarissa, both of them. And Clarissa's like, hey, Jesse, and just being stupid flirty. She's not even drunk. She's just doing this because she loves flirting. She goes, why haven't we ever hooked up?
I don't know.
She sort of is running her hand down your, finger down your chest and all this, just being overly flirtatious. And at one point, Bailey goes, come on, Clarissa, leave him alone. He's obviously not into it, okay? She goes, back off. You can drive home. I'm sure Jesse will give me a ride.
Can I tell if are either one? You said Clarissa wasn't. Is Bailey drunk or like intoxicated?
Not overly so. Not visibly so. Actually, she seems to be more put together than Clarissa.
Okay.
Right now.
I was gonna be a gentleman and offer them a ride home if they were drunk, but
Okay. Well, I mean, you can still do
I'm
that.
still going to, but my reason is different now. I just needed to know.
Okay. So, what do you say?
I mean, I can take you both home. We're all going to the same place.
She goes, and Clarissa sort of looks back and shoots Bailey a look. Says, I think Bailey needs to take the car home anyway. I don't think she needs a ride. Bailey's like, no, we can leave it here. It's fine. And there is this sort of girl like staring angrily at each other thing. And Clarissa, for whatever reason, says, fine, both of you guys go then. I'll take the car. And she stomps off. She's like pulls away from you. Even part of your shirt gets like, she pops one of the buttons off your shirt. She was so tangled up in you just because she was trying to get in on that. And so now Jesse's shirt is sort of open sexily at the top. And Bailey goes, oh, jeez. And she goes, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I really need to stop being friends with her. She's awful.
I mean, it's all right. She's not my favorite though.
I don't know whose favorite she is, but whatever.
He'll like walk around the car and open the door for her.
Okay.
Because he's a gentleman.
Yeah, and she smiles gently and gets in. And when you go around to get into the car, she goes, "You know, we don't have to go back to the dorm. I could stand something to eat.
What the
I'll
fuck
pay."
is the name of that goddamn diner?
Yeah,
Fucking
at the cum dump.
um. Yeah. All right.
Right.
And they'll go to the cum dump.
All right. So you make your way there. Yeah, and sure, it's the same as it always is. It's barely acceptable hygiene, but acceptable to 20-year-olds. And you order, and you guys sit there, sort of, I assume, in silence, unless Jesse just decides to start talking, for quite some time. And Bailey's not really. She's just picking at her food. She's not really that hungry. It was just an excuse. And she goes, "So what are you going to do when you graduate, Jesse?"
I don't know. I haven't really gotten that far. Didn't really expect to make it this far, honestly.
He sort of gives you a look. Why not? You're smart. Why wouldn't you get this far?
I don't know. Shit happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Honestly, thought
Look,
I'd get an SOS from home by now and have to go back. But I guess I'm here.
gotcha. He shrugs a little bit and goes, "Well, I'm glad there's no emergencies back home. I'm glad you're here. I really am."
I guess I am too.
She finally breaks another long, awkward pause and goes, "Jesse, it's been 2 years. Have you seen a therapist or anything? I mean, have you dated anyone?"
I think when she says, "Have you seen a therapist?" he like kind of geeks a little bit, like it's
Sure.
fucking funny. Um, he's a boy after all. But
And Bailey's a girl, after all.
he's just a boy. But um, he just said he kind of chuckles and he's like, haven't really met anyone.
He goes, "Look, I realize we're not best friends, but I see you sort of just going through the motions. Did you even know we were in 4 classes together?"
4?
Sure. Why not? I said 4. Yes, 4.
No, that was
Shut up. I don't
him.
know how many classes
No,
you
that
got.
was him. No, that was him. That was Jesse.
Oh, he goes, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Yes, 4. And Jesse, you are easily the hottest dude at this entire place. Easily. And you haven't dated anybody that I've seen, at least not seriously. I mean, that's fine, if it's not my business, but somebody's got to worry about you, right?"
Don't waste your energy.
Well, I've decided that's my job.
And he like
So
rolls.
he rolls his eyes,
Yeah.
and she sort of, not in your face, but like on your hand, she like smacks your hand a little bit. "Hey, don't roll your eyes when I say I care. It's not right." And but she's laughing. She's joking around. She goes, "Look, I think you're pretty cool, and I'd like to go out with you." if you're not ready, you're not ready. I understand. I wouldn't expect anybody, especially you, and she sort of glances you up and down. Somehow another button has come loose on your shirt. Nobody can say why. She looks you up and down. She goes, and I certainly wouldn't expect you to be exclusive. But maybe I just want to make some soup one day and have you come over and try it, see if you like it. Is that okay?
Are you asking me to be my friend?
I mean, yeah. But a friend you share things with. A friend you can talk to. A friend you open up to.
He looks a little skeptical. When she says that.
She picks up on that. And she goes, look, everybody needs somebody to talk to, right? I mean, we're all human. She just looks at you. Right? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds nice.
I'll call you this week. You'll come over. We'll eat soup.
Sounds perfect. And he'll go back to his sandwich or whatever the fuck he was eating.
Okay. She laughs and she sort of pushes her plate over. Says, here, you can finish this. I'm not going to eat it.
And he absolutely does.
Absolutely, sure, of course. And she gets her stuff together a little bit. She goes, it's not far. I'm going to walk. But thanks for the ride.
Are you sure?
Yeah. No, I mean, how many people are we going to see that we know personally on that trip? I guarantee you I run into a few people that I know. No problem.
All right. Let me know when you get back.
She tilts her head. Jesse, that sounds like you care.
He does literally exactly what I just did. He kind of giggles and shakes his head.
All right. So she laughs and heads outside. And as she's heading out, you see Bronson sort of was heading in, and they talk. I mean, she's at this point they're on the other side of the restaurant. You can't really hear what they talk about. And you watch as he sort of says, "Okay," and shrugs and sort of gestures after you, and he follows her to walk her back to school. What's Jesse do? Just sit there and eat a sad little sandwich?
Yeah. That's actually exactly what he does. And then when he's done, he'll probably go home for the night.
Gotcha. Okay. Lexi, you are current. We cut to Lexi, and the way we cut to Lexi is we see a paramedics ambulance pulling out of the parking lot after most people have gone. And when the ambulance sort of pulls out of the shot, Lexi is left behind. Lexi is sitting there. And describe how Lexi looks currently. What's her appearance?
Oh, I think her hair is an absolute mess. It's just kind of all over the place, down out of whatever kind of hairstyle she had. It's just falling in her face. I think she probably has a black eye or a bloody lip, maybe both. Her mascara is running down her face. Her dress is ripped. It had pretty thin straps, and one of them is just completely ripped off. And she is just a disheveled mess. And I think there is just this wild feral look in her face. Her eyes are just crazy right now.
Okay, so while she's crazy, there's of course everybody sort of going on about their business. The paramedics have looked you over, but I'm sure Lexi was less than cooperative with the paramedics. So she got left behind. There's no real cops or anything here. I mean, security, you get the impression they were off-duty officers anyway. And Lexi is currently sort of standing alone in the shadows, like off the parking lot, where like the trees start-ish, in that direction at least. And you see Fia and David walking back with Julian, walking to what looks to be a very nice Mercedes, very close to you. And Julian is like, yes, and I'm so sorry about the introduction. I hope you won't hold it against me. That's what I get for getting such a inexperienced young lady. But
is there anything around that's like that I could pick up that's heavy, like a rock or a statue or like just like anything?
Well, you're in the parking lot, and so there happens to be a piece where the weather has cracked a big hunk of concrete off one of the curbs.
Great. Assuming they're going to this Mercedes, I look dead at them, like I make eye contact with David, and I reach down and pick up this hunk of concrete and just throw it at the car.
Okay.
I don't know if it hits hood or windshield or what, but I just
it does both. The way you chuck it, woof, 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 and it scratches up the hood and then smashes into the windshield on the passenger side. Oh my God, you hear Julian saying. And help! And Julian trots off. Someone, security! And David gets a little smirk on his face. He maintains eye contact with you. And we'll say you can hear this too. He sort of leans towards Fia and goes, well, now isn't this an interesting situation? What would you like to do?
Oh shit! Wait a minute, hang on. You have to give me a little bit of time here.
Well, there you go. I put you on the spot. I know. Everybody. She specifically one of Fia's powers is that she can, and this isn't giving anything away, is that she can take a power from anybody, any other skin. So that can be
just one time.
Quite intimidating. Just one time.
There's a lot of skins out there.
There's a lot of skins.
I think as we're sitting here having this standoff while Fia's figuring out what to do, Lexi just like brings her hand up to her mouth. I assume her lip and or her nose are probably still bleeding, and she just smears it across her face. Like goes to wipe it off, but it just smears it across her face. So now there's just like running makeup and blood just smeared across her face. She looks like a feral animal. Like her hair is like stringy and in her face. And she is just like, she's feeling way too much right now, and that's not a good thing.
Gotcha. And David is enthralled. David is absolutely, enthralled is a great word. He is watching, enwrapped with you right now. But he's still waiting for word from Fia.
Okay. I don't know if it'll work.
We'll see.
But I think, well, especially after, I don't think Fee would have done anything had Lexi not tripped her. But exploiting that weakness of her pissed her off. And so now she's going to do something. I'm going to try and cast a hex.
Okay. So
right.
let's get into it. How does this work? Or what does it say? Or what does it look like? Or
well,
just
the
go crazy.
Hex casting is a witch move. Which, hang on. I may have to wait and do it. Well,
Yeah.
I don't have. Well,
You can do it without the token as long as you can see me.
okay. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that move, you can do it. If you have a token, you can do it even if you can't see them. But if you don't have the
I gotta do
token,
it right
then you
now.
just, like, point at them.
Yeah, so roll with dark. On a 10 up, the hex works and can easily be reversed. On a 7 to 9, it works, but choose one. Let me roll and see how we go here.
Let's see how it goes.
Let me get up my virtual dice. Because I don't know where my real ones are.
I'm so excited to find out which hex this is.
Okay.
Be crazy.
It is a 7.
Okay, great.
So barely, but we're there. Oh. God.
Okay.
There's
Yeah,
5 options. Hang on.
There is. Oh my God. That is going to be a mess.
Yeah, it is.
I have them pulled up here too. Okay.
There's 2. I'm in between here. I don't know. I don't want to ruin Lexi's life.
I mean, Ring of Lies looks interesting.
It does. I don't want to ruin her life. I just want to seriously inconvenience her.
Okay, we can choose how strong this works. We can choose how bad this is. So it doesn't have to be. I mean, even if you chose Wither, it doesn't have to be like literally her teeth fall out.
Right.
It could be, we can choose.
Let's go with Ring of Lies.
That's the one where... Can you read it so I know
Yeah.
what's going on?
Whenever the person attempts to lie, they hear a piercing, ringing noise. Big lies will often make their knees buckle and disorient them. Severe lies can cause harm or even brain damage.
Yup.
Okay.
But I did roll a
Yep.
7, so I have to get one of these. The casting does you 1 harm. The hex has weird side effects, or you trigger your darkest self.
So.
I'm gonna say it has weird side effects. Fuck it.
Okay. Lexi, you were sort of locked eyes with David at first, and Fia. How does Fia achieve this? What outward vision would we see? What would the camera see of Fia?
Well, so it is. I gotta meet. So I gotta be looking directly at Lexi.
Okay.
And it says I've got a chant, and I don't know if there's any sort of chant that she knows, or if it just comes to her.
It just comes to you.
Or if I'm just like cussing her out, and that's just what happens, like silently,
okay,
just
sure.
like you fucking bitch.
Okay, yeah, no, that works for me. It just, how dare you, you fucking bitch! I can't believe you did that.
But she's very grumbling. She's not yelling at her. She's just like, like very like grumbling, like, oh you ruined it, and how dare you do this to me? How dare you do this? That sort of stuff. But it's very. She's not yelling it at her.
And when that happens, Lexi, you met at Fia's eyes for just a moment when David looked over to Fia. And that's when the hex took effect, because you have to eyes to eyes. And David looks back at you, Lexi, and just laughs. And just laughs and walks around, opens the door to the damaged windshield car on the passenger side, where he offers Fia to sit down on the passenger seat. The driver's side seems relatively undamaged.
She got to give him a
But not
confused
perfectly
look
undamaged.
whenever he wants her to sit. He's like, "Are we not gonna?"
He just
She doesn't
whispers.
say anything, but she's like, Are we not gonna get like another car?"
He whispers, "Just trust me," and shuts the door behind her. He walks around the car, which puts him very close to Lexi. And he grins and gets down close to you and says, "Oh man, okay." He says, "Why do you hate your parents?"
Oh, fuck. I think she looks at him and she just says, "That's none of your fucking business."
That's not a lie, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And he laughs just with joy.
What the fuck is your problem?
Oh, you are a fun one.
And you're a dick. Fuck
You
you.
don't hear a ringing when you say that. And he just laughs some more and he gets in the car. And he starts it up. Julian is nowhere to be seen. He's still off somewhere. And he pulls away.
And I think as they pull away, Lexi yells after the car, "I don't give a fuck what you think." And there is an immediate pain
Oh
in
no.
her brain. And it is searing white hot. And she goes to the ground, probably.
Okay.
And as she recovers from that, I think she wants to test it out. And so she says, just out loud into the darkness, "I don't need any of you." And again, the pain and the ringing. Were you going to fade the scene out here?
We can, or actually, I have another option for the scene to keep going a little bit.
Go for it. Do what you're going to do.
Okay. As you're basically on your hands and knees at this point, causing yourself some significant pain, and of course, scratched up. I mean, the parking lot is nice enough, but it's still a parking lot. There's rocks and gravel and stuff around. We see out of the frame a hand come in and offer you a arm up, and it's Gilly. He goes, "Hey, you look like you could use a ride home."
Fuck you.
Come on, let's go.
And I think, oh, she's in a fucking mood right now. I think there's no one else really around. It's dark, right?
Yeah, it's dark. We can call it an empty parking lot at this point.
I think, how fucked up do I want? No, we're gonna go for it. I think as he goes to pull her up, she goes and takes his hand. But as he goes to pull her up, she pulls him down to the ground. And she's going to push him to the ground and get on top of him. And as the scene fades out, she starts like making out with him, taking his pants off, like just out in the middle of this yard. And she just like starts fucking him.
All right.
And as she's doing that, she's just like yelling a string of lies. Just like little lies to big lies, like just throwing these lies out as she's like hate fucking this poor kid. And I would like to know if this triggers my move Adrenaline Junkie. When you risk long-term consequences in order to pursue pleasure, mark experience. If someone else gets wrapped up in the aftermath, they gain a string on you. And I feel like both of those things are happening because she's gonna
That
hit some
seems
she's gonna hit some pretty hard lies,
yeah.
like some pretty big ones.
Yeah,
So, and
that
she's
seems
just gonna
perfectly
keep
reasonable.
going. She just found a really easy method of self-harm that is feeling real good right now.
Oh,
Um, and she doesn't really give a shit whether Gilly is into it or not. She's just gonna keep going. Um, until she literally cannot take it anymore.
gotcha. That will cost you a string to keep him there that long. But you had a string on him because you fucked him earlier, so you get a string with technically I said you only had one on Maddie's Daddy, but you technically had both of them in there, so
That's fine.
You would have had a string.
I mean, I could roll to turn him on if we want to do that.
I don't think that's necessary. I don't think at this point. I don't think that's necessary unless you want.
Okay, cool. So he'll get I mean, not that NPCs really get strings, but technically he gets a string on me, and I will mark experience, which puts me at 5.
Oh yeah! Wow. All right.
I did a lot of failing tonight.
Then David gets a string on me because I used one of his powers.
Well, and that's where we're cutting to. We see as the scene ends with Lexi and Gilly. It pulls up to the camera, sort of comes up from the ground and sees the Mercedes sort of pull up, and that's that common shot where the car stops right in front of the camera as it raises, and we see just this beat up ass Mercedes. Just I mean the hood's smoking a little bit, and we see the valet. You're at his office. You didn't go straight home. He drove to the office. You see there's a valet, a little security guard at the parking garage, but there's somebody who takes the car. They sort of look at it funny, like, Jesus Christ. And, you get out, and he goes, all right, that's one. Let's do this. And he pushes the button on the elevator to go up to the office. The office is obviously completely empty. It's dark. He flips on a light. Or no, the lights, we'll say this is a fancy office. The lights come on when you guys exit the elevator. And when you get to his office, he has an empty frame there. Very nice. Very extremely ornate. Looks incredibly antique. And he takes the rolled up contract that he had and he puts it in the frame. And then he hangs the frame up over in a place of prominence in his office. And he gestures to a room off of his office. And he says, we have about 10 minutes before he gets here. But that's one.
And I don't think Thea knows she did anything. Because she was just cussing Lexi out with a lot of emotion. Obviously enough to just, to make something happen. But I think she's surprised. And I think she's also a little excited about it. Like she can do something and not even know it.
Okay, yep. And he goes, and so he tells you that's one. Does Fia know what he's referring to?
He told her. I think she has an idea.
Okay, there you go. Okay. And he says, this is going to be a very, very possibly a very intimate relationship, but it doesn't have to be. You are in charge. You get to make the choices. And you can see he is enjoying himself in a way that you have probably never seen him. And it's like, gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like you have a new toy, but you don't know exactly what it does, so you're just watching intently to see what happens. That's sort of the look he's got on his face. And he goes, that was incredible. Normally, people take days, if not weeks, to figure out what they want. You are going to be... We're going to be fast friends. If you wish it, I can be in your ear at all times. If you do not, I can just be available when you call for me. But I will be available. Which would you prefer?
I think she thinks back to like the shit that she's done the past couple days. She's like, I think maybe just whenever I call, and maybe you can see that she's like a little embarrassed, and maybe you can tell that it's because she's fucking in college and just doing whatever.
Okay. He chuckles. Of course. I should have guessed. I should have had to ask. This is the real me, Fia. And this is going to be the real you. You are crossing a threshold that very few people get to. Could be dangerous. Maybe. Perhaps. He shrugs a little bit. That's what makes it fun, isn't it? Julian will be at your service for mundane affairs. You are, of course, always welcome at my home or office. But I have no right to call for you. So, if I call for you, it will be a request from this point forward. And about that time, as he's sort of going over a few little details, he's poured himself a small drink. Poured one for you as well. He says, you might want to drink this. And when he offers it to you, he gestures to a knock at the door, and the door opens. And in walks this dude. He's wearing like a leather vest, and he's got tattoos all over him, and he's carrying like a satchel. And he goes, yeah, I was a little busy, but I'm here. What's up? And David looks at Fia, and he goes, this is Jonathan. And you see the guy roll his eyes. Johnny is fine. This is how we keep track. And he gestures to a room off his office, and he pushes the door open. And it is a spa sort of situation. Like, it's got some plants, and it's got like a masseuse table, and it's got some things on the walls that you're not 100% sure what those do. And he goes, David says, I'll need you to take off your shirt and lay down, face down.
I mean,
and
I think
Johnny is not even looking. Johnny just walks in like he's done this a million times. He sets his little thing down next to the masseuse table and is pulling out like what you recognize as like tattoo needles and equipment.
Yeah, she does it. She goes for it.
Oh, okay. David is you just hear him go, my God. And it's because you get the impression you are one of the few people who has ever just trusted him like this. That has to be it. I mean, whatever it is, he is incredibly...
Probably for good reason.
He's intrigued by you. Anyway, you lay down, and Johnny looks up at David and goes, any special requests? And he goes, it's not up to me. And Fia, is there any particular design you'd like? And if not, we can do the normal. But if you have something specific, that's fine.
So if I'm getting a tattoo on my back, this is me asking. I'm getting a tattoo on my back.
Yes.
How big is it?
Well, that's you don't know. You don't know.
Oh God.
I mean, Fia can ask. I mean, there's.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think she definitely is asking questions because I think
It gives you details.
She wants to know if it's gonna be on. She's not gonna say no to it, but she kind of wants to know if it's gonna be on her forever. She wants to kind of have information.
He describes the normal, the default, is simply tally marks, about 2 inches tall, and right between your shoulder blades. And you get one every time he grants a request. If you wish for some other design, you're more than welcome to have it. It all represents the same thing to him. And I know I'm throwing a lot at you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So this is like the first. I think she feels. This is gonna feel very like symbolic, and I think she feels very. Like she feels bad, but she feels kind of good about it. And I think she's gonna want. I think she's gonna ask for a snake.
Okay. And David pulls up a chair right sort of in front of you where if you rest your chin on the table, you can watch him and talk to him. And he lights up a cigarette. It looks like a hand-rolled tobacco cigarette. And he smokes. And he undoes. He's already taken his jacket off. He's laid it over the back of the chair. And he undoes his sleeves and rolls them up. And he's just getting, comfortable. He undoes his tie a little bit. And he sits down. And he goes, Ophelia, I think we're going to make a lot of memories together. And he takes a big puff off a cigarette, and we hear the needle start going. And, and the scene sort of cuts there. Wow, okay. And we get to... we got time. We get to Jesse. We're going to go around in circles here. Jesse, you scarf down the food that's left. Bailey had bought it. No, he didn't even know a bill. So I assume you're driving back to campus. You had to drive here. So as you're driving back, you see Bronson still hasn't made it back to school yet. He's walking down the street, but he's walking by himself.
Jesse will slow down and roll his window down. It's like, you need a ride?
He looks, oh shit, hell yeah, man, thanks. Man, what's up? Where you been?
I went to some party at insert party location here.
The stables or whatever, yeah.
And then I got some dinner. I'm heading home now. You all right?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Just walking home, man. I was gonna get a drink and decided I would walk instead of drive. Drinking and driving and all that shit.
Responsible.
That's right. That's what I say. That's what I tell people. People don't believe that about it. See, that's why I like you, Jesse. And he's talking. He's like keyed up about something. So that's why I like you. That's right. You don't judge people. You know what's up. I like you, Jesse. You're pretty cool. And you're getting vibes from him now. You've been getting vibes from people all night long. And now you're getting vibes from Mr. Alpha Male Red Pill Bronson. He's like, man, fuck those bitches, right? Fuck a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, fuck those bitches.
Shit, God damn. I knew you knew what's up. And he sort of swats you on your shoulder, but the hand sort of stays there a little longer than it has to. And he sort of lets it sort of trail down your arm. But, he pulls it back. Maybe it was an accident.
What did you say to Bailey earlier?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
I saw you. What did you say to Bailey?
He freezes up a little bit. What do you mean you saw us? I didn't think anybody saw us.
Alright. I was sitting right there.
Oh, she decided to go her own way. I don't know. She's probably back at school by now. I took a break.
Have I gotten a text or anything that Bailey got home? Do I
Nope.
know that Bailey got
Nope.
home? She's not home yet. I would know.
Why do you say that? I'm sure she is.
Because I told her to let me know when she got home.
And you know how these girls are, man. They fucking just use you up and leave you. She probably forgot all about it as soon as she walked out the door.
What did you say to her? It didn't matter that much.
All right, I just offered to to walk her home so she didn't have to walk home by herself.
Is that it?
Sure, yeah, of course. What else would it be?
I don't know. I think he maybe just drives home in silence.
Bronson is just jabber, talking about nothing. And he goes, "Hey, man, you want to hang out in my room when we get back?"
I've got some homework to do. I'm just gonna head back to my room.
Come on, man. Who gives a shit? It's fucking Saturday. What do you mean you got homework to do?
I mean, I've got homework to do.
Whatever, fag. All right, let's go. And he gets out. I mean, by this point, you're at a parking lot, and he gets out of the car. Says, whenever you're done being gay, come on over. We can play some Call of Duty or something.
He doesn't say shit to that. I do later that night want to try to use one of my dreams or one of my moves.
Okay, what do you like to do?
I just have this move called Wet Dream that I'm interested in. It's when you visit somebody in their dreams, you can turn them on no matter how far away you are from them. If you have sex in their dreams, it triggers your sex move as normal.
Okay.
I don't. There's nothing else about like how to visit people in their dreams. Like, if I can just do it.
Sounds like you can just do it.
But it sounds interesting.
Okay.
And I want to try to use it on Fia.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Okay. So describe a little bit. Fia, you make it home. Where do you spend the night? Do you make it all the way back to the dorm? Maybe you do. Maybe that's the best place to go. Or do you stay with David? David has a whole place in the office where he's like a different part of this floor where he could sleep if he needs to.
Like what time did we get there?
You got there. It wasn't super late. I mean, this was an event that probably ended around 10:30. So by the time you got a tattoo, it was still before midnight. By the time it was done, let's say it's midnight, 12:30.
Yeah, I think she'll go back to the dorm. I think that she feels it feels very homey to her. I don't know. I think that she just likes it there.
Sure, absolutely.
I think she likes the noise, and I don't know.
All right. Well, you get home and Olive is already asleep, and yeah, you bundle up. Sure enough, you fall into a deep sleep. It's been a very, very long day. And Jesse, how does this work? You have the keys of the kingdom here. How does this go?
I think that like, I think that it's like, I mean, Jesse will like get himself ready for bed and like lay down like he's going to bed, but I think he just lays there, and I think he just starts thinking about Fia, and it's almost like when he falls asleep, it's like instead of having his own dreams, he ends up in somebody else's, like whoever he was thinking about when he fell asleep.
Okay.
And I think he like wakes up, quote unquote, in Fia's mind. And I don't know what he sees. That's on Fia, but
Well,
whatever.
between the two of you, you can collaborate.
Whatever Fia's dreaming about.
I don't know.
All right, let's try this. Fia, you are dreaming about. For whatever reason, you're dreaming about horses. Perhaps you just came from a stables, there are horses.
Sure.
What that might, you look up and it's like they're running on a beach. It's very amazing and majestic. And you turn up and there's Jesse sitting riding bareback, no saddle or nothing, on a horse.
Sounds like a romance.
Like a romance novel. Like a romance novel. There's Jesse, and Jesse is offering you a hand to get up on the horse with him.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. All right. It's up to y'all. That's the scene.
Okay. Well, I think maybe we'll ride for a little bit until, I don't know, there's like a little like cabana hut or something. I don't know. I haven't been to the beach for so fucking long.
It's a dream. It can be whatever. It's whatever. It just happens to happen.
Oh yeah, true. Fuck that. The beach turns into like woods, like a little like wooded area that like kind of resembles the woods out like behind the dorm. Because dream, and then he'll hop down and like help you off, and I think he'll like extend a hand to like have you follow him.
Yeah, should do it. And I think in this dream she does not have any sort of like disability. I think that she's walking fine.
And then I think we walk for a second, and then it is like that little fire pit area. Or something like similar to it. And man, I didn't think this far ahead. But he'll like sit, and I think the like fire is lit already, 'cause dreams, and he'll sit and like motion for you to like come sit next to him.
I think she's just following along with. I think she just feels like this is a very good dream.
And then I think it almost like frame for frame recreates like what happened last episode between the two of them here. The green cup, I can't.
Sorry.
What's he drinking?
But I think it like frame for frame recreates like what happened last episode. With the like let him worry. But instead of I think just a kiss, he's gonna like, try to do a little bit more.
Go for it.
Okay, sure. Well, feel free to roll for it. You can roll to turn somebody on.
I will. Got a 9.
Okay. Well, on a 9, that is a full success. So on a turn someone on, it means... Whoop, come here. It means you... on a 7 to 9, they can either give you a string, you can either do that, or you can choose one of the reactions. I give myself to you, I promise something I think you want, or I get embarrassed and act awkward.
It's a dream. She's gonna give herself to him.
Okay. And so, yeah, that triggers your sex move.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like hard and aggressive like what fucking Lexi was doing. I think that this is like sweet and tender and like romance.
They're making love.
They're making love. They're not fucking. They're making love.
This is real forbidden love shit.
That's right. So read us your sex move one more time, just so we know what it does.
So mine says when you have sex with somebody, ask them if they're satisfied. If they are, they take 1 harm and mark experience. Otherwise, take 2 strings on them. Which doesn't go super with our making love stance, but I don't know. Maybe it's like psychic harm
maybe
or something.
Maybe it's like psychic
Yes.
harm.
Oh. Okay, you do take some psychic damage. But after all this sort of plays out, and it's amazing. It's one of the most realistic dreams you've ever had. As the camera sort of pulls back and sort of fades away like it would in a romance or whatever, the dream, we see David still sitting in that chair that he watched you get a tattoo in, smoking a cigarette, and we see a look of just pissed off anger on his face, just insanely pissed off. And he takes that cigarette and he puts it out on his own leg. He just puts it out and he flicks it and he stands up and leaves. And when you wake up in the morning, now that was all, you somehow witnessed that from outside your own body. This is a dream. It's one of those things where you get to see, it's fucking, you forget about it. But you wake up in the morning and you have blood, you have a bloody nose and some blood coming out of out of your ear. And
I also have the move learned experiences, which is when you have sex with somebody, you gain their sex move and you lose it once you use it. So I also have Fia's sex move now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Just for the record.
Fia, read your sex move for us.
Okay, when you have sex, the dark power loses a string on you and gains a string on whoever you had sex with.
So the next person that has sex with Jesse is getting sold to the dark power.
Man, fuck them.
Oh no.
Hey,
We'll figure that out. But I do have it now.
Because I don't know if the sex move would actually work on her because it was a dream. I don't know if that's... Like, her sex move wouldn't trigger... Would it?
Right.
So he wouldn't get a string on
Jesse.
But now Jesse has that move. To
right.
give it to somebody
The text of the move
else.
says that only her move triggers. Only his move triggers. Right. So your sex move technically doesn't trigger because you didn't really have sex. This was a dream. So, yeah. Right now you have not lost your string, or the string from the thing. But that's more or less how the episode ends, is David putting this thing out, fire. I mean, you could see smoke coming off his pants.
So I'm getting damage? I'm getting harmed?
You get damage because of her move, right?
Yeah.
So I get a damage and an experience? Is that what it is?
You just take damage. I take experience.
Damn it.
Which
okay.
does take me to 5 experience.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've been rolling like shit.
That's the thing. And you guys can call for rules too. It doesn't just have to be me. So
I
you guys
mean,
want some experience, say,
I'm
I'm going to do
good. Damn it.
Yeah, that's true.
I would like to... I only have 1 experience right now.
Okay. Well, that'll be the flicking. He'll flick the cigarette when he puts it out. He flicks it right at the camera, and that's what blacks out the camera, and the credits roll. And that's the end of episode 3 tonight, folks. My God,
It got wild. It got wild out of nowhere.
Down.
It did
Woo!
good.
It did good. That was great, guys. Oh, Madeline has no idea what she's missing. We can't wait to see you, Gray. Come back next week. We'll see you. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We love you very much. I love you guys very much. Thank you. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.